It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Hey, it's time for your weekly cup of coffee. I'm right here at Slumberland at the Lake. I'm Wild Will.
I'm Uncle Chris.
Chris, is 5 weeks until the general municipal elections. And not just that, all kinds of drama in Camden County.
Things are starting to get interesting, yeah.
We're kind of accustomed to that. If you're new to that, we'll get you up to speed if you're new to the Lake of the Ozarks. Hey, plus Hillbilly Hammer, we told you last week, we're going to explain his Hall of Fame induction. Pretty cool stuff.
Wow, really cool.
Yeah, plus the Highway 54. It does look like that's going to happen. We'll break that down in Camdenton. And I don't know if you saw the headline, but the city of Lake Ozark reminds us, hey, you can't smoke pot in public.
I did see that, yeah.
We got that and a whole lot more. But first, that's from our friends right here at Slumberland at the Lake.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're kicking off our Mega Madness sale, so that means lots of savings for you in every room of the house. Not only are you going to get great savings, we have 0% interest for up to 36 months, and we deliver the entire lake area. You need to come check it all out at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
A cup of coffee as we wake up in the car or right here on Lake TV with Will and Chris. Kind of like driving, we do it every single day.
But we shouldn't do it while distracted. Did you know that drivers who text are 23 times more likely to be in a crash? So keep your eyes on the road and always remember to buckle up and put your phones down.
This Drive Safe, Boat Safe message brought to you by Price and Randall Injury Attorneys.
Now back to your cup of coffee with Will and Chris.
All right, so it's time to knuckle up with our first local headline.
Bare
right?
knuckle up.
I was all into this. Remember for a couple of years following this with Sam Shoemaker, our local from Gravois Mills. We told you last week he was making it into the Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame, and you see the post here Scott Burke posted on February 22nd. There were 10 new inductees into the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame, and the criteria where you had to have a minimum of 8 pro fights that were sanctioned by approved promoters. They had 10 inductees and then 8 award winners for outstanding achievements. And local Sam Shoemaker, the Hillbilly Hammer, he won the Hall of Fame Modern Pioneer Award and will be inducted into this year's class. You'll remember he made history at Bare Knuckle FC 1 when he knocked out Eric Prindle in the heavyweight bout just 18 seconds in.
Wow.
And that was in the heavyweight tournament they had. And then he won over Maurice Jackson in the semifinals before losing in a split decision to Arnold Adams at BKFC 3, and it was really a controversial decision. But he ended up finishing his bare knuckle career with an overall mark of 5-4-1, but over his 9 fights, Uncle Chris, he faced the biggest names in the heavyweight division for bare knuckle fighting championships, from Carlos Beltran, Chase Sherman, Arnold Adams, Mick Terrell, Bobo O'Bannon, and more. And his last fight was August 3rd, 2024 in Sturgis. It was a loss to Josh Burns, but I mean, a guy who made his pro debut in his mid to late 30s, and that's a really solid career, and now inducted into the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame as the Hall of Fame Modern Pioneer.
You know, those guys are so tough. Can you imagine, your career is fighting bare knuckles against other animals? I mean, that's tough there.
Listen, well, he's always had numerous trades and skills. I actually texted Sam to see if we could shoot a little feature with him, and he was working on a home. He's a masonry, or, he does incredible work. He sent me a photo building a home with these stones. So, yeah, he'll be making the trip down for that induction. Pretty cool stuff. So congratulations to local Sam Shoemaker, the Hillbilly Hammer. We've loved following that, and I loved fighting ever since Sam made that debut. Man, that was wild, that knockout. Eric Prindle, 18 seconds in. It was wild.
Wow.
All right, so our next headline, we told you last week, right? 54 in Camdenton. It's often a congested area, especially a stoplight. You've got the gas station there, and as you get closer, it only gets worse. And so we saw headlines that said, hey, look, the city, the county, and MoDOT have agreed to a cost sharing to renovate 54. And there was some controversy, and there was some, hey, this isn't actually going to happen or hasn't been voted on last week. But we have an update. You remember it was Alderman Dan Owsley. He had raised concerns and said, hey, he abstained from the vote at the meeting, thinking it was just to put it on the agenda, but it was actually them approving to enter this agreement. City Administrator Jeff Hooker got a hold of me last week after the airing of Cup of Coffee, and he said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that we did enter this. This is passing. Alderman Owsley is misinformed, and so it's now in MoDOT's hands. Now, if you're interested in the details, Camden County agreed to cover 25%, $625,000 roughly, or not to exceed $625,000. The city of Camdenton has agreed to cover another 25%, not to exceed $625,000. And the hope is MoDOT would cover the other 50% of that, up to $1.25 million. Area engineer for MoDOT, Danny Rager, had presented to the city of Camdenton and the county. And it looks like MoDOT actually has $50 million budgeted annually for these types of projects, but their team still has to approve this. Application deadline is April 6th. And the presentation meeting is set for June 11th. Oh. So once that's final, they'd probably have to start scheduling all of the process and the construction and the road work. So we still have a little bit, but it does look like this is happening.
And that is the area on Highway 54 where it comes into Highway 5, right? That big interchange there. And I think they said from the Sips and Scooters Coffee to Highway 5, because that's the place that always gets so backed up in that, especially since Culver's went in there. You know, the traffic has picked up, and now they've got an Aldi's going in back there. So that whole area is just going to get busier and busier.
Yeah, and so it's interesting, right? Because we haven't seen a lot of this before, the city, the county, and MoDOT sharing the cost on something like this. But I thought it was interesting. So what do you guys think? When you first heard this, some people said, hey, I don't think the city or the county with taxpayer dollars should be footing a MoDOT project. But this is different. I thought it was kind of interesting outside the box. But what do you guys think of a project like this?
I think, my personal opinion, you got to keep up with this stuff, man. You know, I mean, everybody's complaining about the traffic in that area now. It's not going to get any better unless you start doing something to the highways, the roads, stuff like that, widening or adding more lanes or something needs to be done. It's only going to get busier, and this is winter. It's not even summer yet, you know.
Yeah, and I think by an investment by the city and the county at $625,000, what you gain for your area for many years, you can presume, probably financially with tax increase, easier to travel through. So things to discuss, but it looks like this project will be moving forward, and it'll be presented on June 11th. So we'll keep you posted. Hey, our next headline, City of Lake Ozark reminds us, hey, you can't smoke pot in public.
Yeah, you would think this would be a given, right?
Right.
But story says, as expected Tuesday night, the Lake Ozark Board of Aldermen officially approve the first reading of an ordinance to make it illegal to smoke marijuana in public places around the city. So City Administrator Harrison Fry says the ordinance is a more proactive approach to enforcement of what's already a state law, but keeping that enforcement on the local level, probably a pretty smart idea. The penalty in Lake Ozark once the second reading is passed will be $100 for each violation of the marijuana ban. The second reading of the ordinance expected during the board's meeting in mid-March. And again, you know, from the older generation like mine, you used to get thrown in jail for stuff like this. Now it's like just ignored, or, you know, you walk by somebody that's like, oh, that's an earthly odor over there.
Yeah, but back then it wasn't recreationally legal.
Nope.
And so now the argument is people want to do it in public. And you're right, like the state level says, hey, you can't do it, it's illegal. But up to this point in time, local municipalities would have to file charges, which can be more complicated. And when you talk about small areas like City of Lake Ozark, man, when they're down on the strip, if you've seen Ozark Law, they're patrolling. If you have 4 to 6 officers spread out over the weekend or that night, you really don't want them to be messing with filing charges for somebody smoking marijuana. And so by them being able to offer a $100 citation on the spot allows them to stay on the job, be effective, and as the press release said, or the article with our friends at KRMS, a little more intentional. Now, I did talk to the mayor, David Ridgely, and I joked. I said, well, how much for a season pass? $100 per offense? You guys offer like a season pass for one low cost, and then I just show the pass. But all joking aside, he said that this would just allow the officers to stay there. You don't want those guys to have to book them or even to file charges, which would be far more complicated. So when I saw the headline, though, I said, yeah, obviously, you can't smoke pot in public, right? But that is obviously not the case as far as people believing, hey, I can do that, and they have been. So hopefully this will help. Just a reminder, folks, don't smoke pot in public, especially in the city of Lake Ozark, or you'll be met with a swift $100 fine.
I like that idea, though. Buy your yearly pass. You could call it like a token or something like that. A couple $100 a year, $1,000, whatever. So
hey, I got a cool story. You saw the headline, right? The new 60-room hotel is coming to the historic Bagnell Dam Strip. But I want to announce, I found out in talking with the mayor and city administrator Harrison Fry, and some of the stuff going on is the new owner, Robert Duvall, who had submitted his site plan to City of Lake Ozark Planning and Zoning Commission, which included that 60-room hotel, actually turns out to be the new JJ Twiggs ownership team that has, renovated and pumped a lot of money into that, and also owns Donut Palace. Right there. And so I thought this was pretty cool that this seems to be a mover and a shaker, especially on the historic Bagnell Dam Strip.
Yeah, right there. And I think everybody would agree it'd kind of be nice to have a good-sized hotel there on the Strip. So a site plan submitted to Lake Ozark Planning and Zoning Commission by Robert Dullard reveals the hotel would be located behind the Donut Palace there. Okay, everybody knows where the Donut Palace is. Everybody knows where JJ Twiggs is. That would be next door to the Lake Ozark Fire Protection District Station. Dullard was a general contractor in the Chicago area for years and has investment properties around the lake. He said, we spent a lot of time at the lake. He told Lake Expo, we've been working on that site for a long time. Added that Rambolt Excavation has been working to excavate and prepare the site for building. So they're already working on this. They're already, it's not just an idea at this point. They're already doing it. Dullard revealed that he recently bought JJ Twiggs. That was the impetus behind the major facelift this offseason. He is the developer owner of the Donut Palace, as you said. And while it's too early for renderings, Dullard said the plans for the 5-story hotel would place the top floor at street level with the lower levels on the back going down the hillside. I thought that was fascinating. It's not going up, it's going down the hillside.
Yeah.
So that's very unique with the top floor at ground level. But I went and looked at that site. There's a pretty steep hill back there. So as that hotel goes down, you're still going to have a view of that valley and everything. So that's kind of a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, nothing is in slate, but they tease shuttles, shops, ropes courses, all kinds of possibilities, including a potential trolley. So this is cool, and it's not going to be like a major chain or franchise. So pretty cool. And they did tease 18 months roughly for a soft opening.
Yeah. Look for that on the Strip. That's fascinating. They also said, this is for clarification. He is not affiliated with our other potential developments in the area, such as Reese Development or the local casino investors. This is a separate thing from all of that. So, I think this is fascinating. I think that would be great for the Strip.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I was also excited to find out who bought the iconic JJ Twiggs, the late, great Jim and Patty Wettig, and their sons Ryan and Mark, one of the great establishments, been down here for so many years, and you've seen it change, right? Get the paint and stuff. So a place that I have lots of memories at. And so that's cool as you see those old nostalgic places around the lake, change and are still here and still alive. So I was happy to see kind of who was behind that. And obviously the Dullards are not done right there around Lake Ozark.
Got a lot of plans. Apparently they got a lot of money too. So that's cool. JJ Twiggs, when I first moved to the lake, you were telling me they had something on the menu that was the best in town.
Dynamite sticks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, they're like Italian sausage and pepperoni and ground beef all put together. They're rolled in their special seasoning, put in a red tortilla, and then deep fried, and then they're Parmesan dipped in marinara. But shout out to the Wettigs, because JJ Twiggs, one of the greats, no doubt about it. So hey, if you're new to Lake of the Ozarks, you're probably not familiar that down here it's a little bit different in regards to politics, people's opinions on Facebook. A lot of local people, they get involved in the political realm locally, and especially election season. And if you are new, well, I want to tell you, buckle up, because it's going to get crazy in Camden County over the next probably 5 to 6 months, right? We're 5 weeks, less than 5 weeks away from your general municipal elections in April. And the big one there, right, is the Osage Beach mayor. We keep telling you, we'll continue to tell you the weeks leading in, incumbent Mayor Michael Harmison, and then challenger Richard Ross and Angie Schuster. That should be an interesting race, right?
Yeah, very interesting, yeah.
Then you've got county stuff. And we'll tell you more about the election coming up in August. That's the primary election. But hey, just some headlines. Over the last week and a half out of Camden County, a lot of these right out of Citizens for a Better Camden County. But the first one is Nathan Rennie. A lot of you know Nathan. He's been active before. I want to read this to you. You can see his Facebook, her Facebook post right here. Nathan Wade, proud to announce that I've officially signed up to run for Democrat Central Committee. The Central Committee is in charge of local fundraisers, events, and party platform issues. I'm running unopposed and look forward to making great changes to the way the Democratic Party represents itself here locally. I hope other people who think like me will join me in running for the open seats so we can truly make the Democrat Central Committee great again. For all you Democrats out there, I have this message. For the duration of this campaign, you will refer to me as she, her, queen, king. My preferred adjectives are strong and beautiful. So before you criticize me with any negative words, realize that if you use my incorrect adjectives, you are a sexist, racist, misogynistic, bigoted, homophobic fascist. Ever since I was a little girl, I dreamed that I could be on the Democrat Central Committee, and now it looks like I will be by default. Thank you for your support. And then the photo attached either look like Nathan has lived in the gym with protein and push-ups, or this is an AI-generated photo, but that was a rather popular post, which got reactions from both sides of the aisle, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Then the next one, Dan Owsley, who, as you know, is an alderman with the city of Camdenton, announced he's throwing his name in for presiding commissioner, but not, as you would think, on the Republican side, but as a Democrat. His post said this morning, I filed for Democrat candidate for Camden County presiding commissioner, looking forward to the possibility of serving the great people of Camden County. So you have two people who are running.
Prominent Republicans.
Correct, running. One for the Central, I think they're both running for the Democrat Central Committee, with Owsley announcing his bid for presiding commissioner, which is going to be a real highly contested race in August on the primary.
Yep.
The incumbent, Ike Skelton, holds the seat currently, right? We've already seen Kathy Holstein, Nick Sherrill, and now Dan Owsley throw their name in for that seat. And so presumably you've got four, well, maybe not so fast, because when I went and looked, I did not see that Ike Skelton, the incumbent, has filed for re-election for Camden County presiding commissioner.
He might not run again then, huh?
Well, I don't know if that's the case, but I did reach out to Commissioner Skelton, and I said, hey, I just noticed it doesn't look like you filed for re-election. And he said, you're correct. And he didn't say a lot. He just said that if I do decide to rerun, I have until March 31st. He's accurate, actually, for those seats. Deadline to file your candidacy is March 31st. So the time is ticking, right? But you already have three challengers, and you see two prominent Republicans running in some capacity for local Democratic seats or committees. And then you've also got drama between the prosecutor's office and the sheriff's office over voice recordings. You've got election drama at the courthouse when people were filing their bid for candidacy. Any way you look at it, it is drama. And when we try to cover Morgan and Miller and Camden County. But it looks like here for the next 6 weeks into August, even the next 5 months, there'll be a lot of attention surrounding Camden County. I mean, there's so much on that primary ballot coming up in August. You have the auditor, the presiding commissioner, prosecutor will be a big race. I mean, you have a lot on that ballot. So for those of you that are new to Lake of the Ozarks, just want to tell you, buckle up because it is about to get crazy.
Yeah, it's already getting crazy. So 5 weeks away from the first election of the year, the municipal, and I mean, we've got all of this happening. So it's already crazy. I mean, it is entertaining, I'll say that much, that's for sure.
Yeah, and in regards to the drama going on with the sheriff's office and the prosecutor's office, like there's secret recordings, there's subpoenas to get the secret recordings going on between meetings. So you've got drama brewing there as well. So I'm just telling you, and this is all as we see, Lake Expo put out an expose this week focusing on Camden County and the major backlog in cases.
Yeah, this is an incredible story, fascinating story. It says justice moves slowly in Camden County. Last year, Camden County Prosecutor's Office disposed of more than 2,000 cases. Took care of 2,000 cases. You'd think that'd be great. That's a good number, but the new cases kept pouring in as the court system struggled with a serious bottleneck. Disposing of a case, Prosecutor Rochelle Grosvenor explains, is when a case comes to an end. It can be resolved through a guilty plea, a trial, or charges being dismissed by a judge or dropped by prosecution, right? Makes sense. While her team was busy disposing of those 2,000 cases, 2,300 new cases were added to the docket. As of February 16th of this year, there were 4,821 open criminal cases in Camden County with 8,714 total charges. It's an average of almost 2 charges per case. Grosvenor took office at the beginning of 2023, lauded that her 6 assistant prosecutors on average, each responsible for 500 to 600 cases apiece at any given time. Most of those cases will involve plea deals, but for the many that are headed towards trial, her team has to be ready to prosecute. They don't know if they're going to plea or not, so they have to put all that time in to get ready to prosecute, and then at the last second, the defendant will plea out. So you win, but you lose because you put all that time into that. So I didn't realize the numbers were so huge in Camden County.
Yeah, it got big issues, and so when you see some of these issues going on with whether it's the commission, the prosecutor, and the sheriff's office, then you look at, and my concern with stuff like this is this article from Lake Expo alluded to that it's not uncommon for somebody to not have even got their preliminary hearing 3-4 years after they were initially arrested. And so does this mean that we've got innocent people potentially who were wrongfully charged, wrongfully arrested, that haven't even been able to have their case heard? And so that's a concern. There's not enough beds in the jails. Looks like not only is the sheriff's office and the prosecutor's office underfunded, but this seems to be a much bigger issue than one isolated case and who's responsible for this. It seems like Camden County has an overwhelming issue, lots of questions, and with the upcoming primary elections, I imagine it's going to get interesting. But one point I've noticed since 2015, there has not actually been an elected official that's actually served a 4-year term. You've had many appointments and many people who have left while they've been Camden County's prosecutor. I believe the Honorable Michael Gilley, the Honorable Judge Heather Miller, and then you had Caleb Cunningham, who was appointed, and now you have elected Rochelle Grosvenor. But as the article alluded to, that's the first time in over a decade this Camden County has actually had an elected prosecutor for a full 4-year term, assuming, of course, that finishes out through 27.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's just going to be interesting because you're going to see a lot of people throw their name in the cap for different seats. Almost everything, judges, auditor, senator, state rep, is on that August ballot. And so I found this timing interesting also to see this is what's going on as well in Camden County.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And they need to do something about this because you can't just keep that bottleneck backlog. And a larger team of prosecutors would help, Grosvenor says, but that would only expand one area of the justice pipeline. The real backlog comes in the courts.
Yeah.
You need judges. You need to handle this in a lot of different ways. And hopefully, the county can step up and figure out an answer to get through this. In the meantime, it doesn't help that the prosecutor's office and the sheriff's office have differences between them. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I do want to point out, maybe this number is uncommon, but this isn't an issue that is isolated to just Camden County. It is the legal and the judicial system, a state and nationwide, really, but it does seem to be heightened here in Camden County. So, hey, real quick, pretty cool story. There was a second grader in Camdenton, Haven Jimenez, and he was awarded the Laker Legacy Award at Dogwood Elementary because he raised $1,900 to help clear negative lunch balances. He identified this need, and he started crafting and selling handmade items, turning his creativity into a powerful tool for good. And the Legacy Award was given because his selfless initiative has provided significant relief to local families and serves as an inspiration to the entire school community. Only 6 or 7 years old. How about that?
That's amazing, man. I mean, that kid is unbelievable. Raises $1,900, helped clear negative lunch balances at his school. Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, pretty spectacular. What a guy. Hey, if you want to see other creativity by kids in the Camdenton School District, the 13th annual Market Day at Hurricane Deck Elementary is on Thursday, March 26th. Each year, the third graders, after their economic course, hold a service project, aka Market Day. Students create products to sell, and they exchange real money for their economic currency, and all the money raised is donated to the charity chosen by the kids. This year, the third grade students have selected to donate all the money to Kids Harbor. All items are between $1 and $4. Thursday, March 26th from 9:45 to 10:45 at the gym at Hurricane Deck Elementary. I took my grandpa last year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable event. You bet I'm going this year again to the Hurricane Deck Elementary Market Day for Kids Harbor this year. Pretty cool. Hey, not only the cool thing happening on the west side of the lake, but we told you last week about 81-year-old Robbie Harrelson and his dream. Well, I went down and got to meet up with Robbie just earlier this week. It was nearly 20 years ago that I played ball right here on this very field for the beloved Gravois Gators. Back then, my coach Robbie Harelson, at 65 years old, man, he could really play ball. Well, now in my mid-30s, for me, I've slowed down quite a bit, but I'm not sure the same can be said for Coach Robbie. As a matter of fact, he's been making headlines lately in his attempt to play for the Savannah Bananas. I had to come catch up with my old coach and find out for myself, can 81-year-old Robbie Harelson still play ball?
My name's Rob Harrelson, and possibly I'm the best 81-year-old baseball player in the world. If anybody wants to challenge that, I'm looking for a challenge. Baseball has been in my life since I could walk. Before TV, me and my brother would get out in the yard and Harry Carey would be going, and it's the windup, and it's the pitch on the way. My brother would pitch, I'd catch, and we'd go through the whole game. After that, I played Little League, I played Junior Babe, I went through high school, but I started playing softball then. I played softball until I started coaching, and now I've been coaching for 30 years. I've got 3 daughters and 1 son, and my son works with me full-time at our scrapyard. They've always been coming to the games and fully supported me. Savannah Bananas has taken the game to another level. They make it fun. And everything I read about getting older is do new things, think new things, meet new people. And I think the Bananas have got all that going for them. I think I can do it. I'll give it all I got. I'll give it 100%. And I'm in pretty good physical shape, so I think I can be a crowd drawer. Never quit dreaming. I don't care if you're 81 years old or 21 years old, you have to keep dreaming.
Well, Coach, you still got it, my friend. Coach Robbie Harrelson trying out for the Savannah Bananas, and the way you guys can help and get involved is please go connect with the Facebook page you see right here on screen, the Instagram page, and the TikTok page. And for all the content you see over the next few days, make sure you like that. Make sure you tag the Savannah Bananas. We're trying to get our buddy 81-year-old Robbie Harrelson to be the next Savannah Banana. Coach, thanks for your time, buddy.
I'm 81 years old. My name's Rob Harrelson, and I hope to be the next Savannah Banana! Woo!
Yeah, really cool. So make sure you go like those pages and connect. Robbie Harrelson, pretty special stuff. And hey, he's not the only interesting individual around baseball we've got this week on Lake TV. Steve Wapnick, your guest on the Spotlight Show.
Former Major League pitcher and now here at the Lake of the Ozarks, big in the FCA and everything. Great story, though. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, he's the real deal, and I saw he's got his own trading card.
Yeah.
Thought that was super cool. And then, hey, look, St. Patty's Day right around the corner this year, the annual St. Patty's Day Parade, Saturday, March 14th on the historic Bagnell Dam Strip. And hey, if you can't be there, don't worry, Lake TV will have it live from Stewart's on the Strip. Kevin, Ellie, and I will be live at noon with the parade starting at 1, presented by Dockworks. Don't miss it. Hey, thanks for watching this week's Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake.